So, what is Cellular Defense? Cellular Defense is a multiplayer tabletop board game that can be enjoyed by ages 3 and up. Our game is inspired by board games such as chess, Chinese checkers, Monopoly, and card games such as Uno. The theme of the board game is biology, more specifically the components of the human body. This game is played by purchasing and capturing pieces until a player fills their target area with their pieces. If played correctly, the game will take about 10 minutes to complete. Our board game targets players who have an interest in biology and likes board games such as chess and Monopoly, or people who just like resource management games in general. We recommend players who are playing our game to be at least above the age of 3, since the wrongful ingestion of pieces is not recommended. This is what sets our board game, Cellular Defense, apart from the others. It offers complex gameplay that challenges strategic thinking, promotes skillful play over luck with colorful, intricately designed pieces. It's visually engaging, plus it's perfect for groups, fostering social fun with multiple players. Gameplay mechanics. Cellular Defense incorporates ideas for many different well-known board games and builds upon them to create something that has never before seen. Games in which we took inspiration from includes the currency aspect of Monopoly, the piece aspect of chess, the turn-based aspect of Uno, and the board game design of Chinese checkers. Cellular Defense is a turn-based game, which means players take turns making moves. There is no system to decide which players go first, rather the players can come up with their own way to decide. The game follows a clockwork direction, and each players get 1 turn per rotation. In a turn, a player can choose to do 3 things: purchase a piece, move a piece, or challenge a player of their choice. Out of the 3 things that the player can do, 2 of which is moving a piece and challenging a player, both cost a turn. And the game rotates to the next player after the player has made their move. Although making a purchase from the shop does not cost a move, a player can only purchase something in their turn. But during a turn, there is no limit as to how many items a player can purchase. If a player decides to only purchase something from the shop and not make any other move, they can decide to give up their turn and rotate the game to the next player. Setup for Cellular Defense is quite simple. Each player starts out with 0 pieces and turn currency. The optimal amount of players that can play the game is 3, but players can choose to only play with 2 players. Each player occupies 1 colored region on a hexagram squared board. That area is called the starting area of the player. If there are 3 players playing the game, each player's starting area must be 1 small hexagon triangle apart from another. The color of a player's starting area is their assigned color. In Cellular Defense, the ultimate goal of the players playing the board game is to fill out the target areas with the pieces until the value of the pieces add up to a certain amount, which can be decided by the players, but with a standard of 100. The player's target area is this triangle that is the same color as their starting area. On the board, the wild area, or the area that is not colored, is a free-for-all zone. This means that any player can capture any other player's pieces if both pieces are in the wild area. Each piece has a different moveset and pieces that they can capture. Additional information is listed below. A face-off or a challenge occurs if a player decides to challenge another player in the turn. The 2 players will be put in the face-off state. In this state, players can choose how much currency they will want to bet. Players could double the currency that they bet if they win, but if they lose, they will lose it all. When 2 players are in the face-off state, the unaffiliated 3rd player can decide to bet on one of the 2 players, with the betting system working the same as the 2 players. Whether a player wins or loses is decided by a game of rock, paper, scissors between the 2 players, or any other quick game that the player chooses. Let's look at some alternative board designs made by our team members. This first design has a bit more distance between the starting area and the goal, promoting more interactions between the players. The board is also symmetrical and looks like a star, which is quite nice. However, the shape makes it awkward to implement our grid-based movement system and is furthermore difficult to insert in a box. Our second design, although being more space efficient, has weird positioning of all the different areas on the board and might introduce problems further down in development due to the distance between the goal and start areas. Now, piece design. The glucose piece is demonstrated with the grape icon and with the letters GLU, referencing the Chinese terminology for glucose, which the literal translation of is grape sugar. In Cellular Defense, glucose acts as the currency between the players and the bank. Despite its name, players cannot trade with other players since this is a competitive game. Rather, a player who is not playing as a player would have to act like a bank and manage the currency/trade of the players in the game. The cell, the most basic unit of all living things, depicted by a pink circle icon with a smaller purple circle inside, representing the cell membrane and the nucleus respectively. In Cellular Defense, the cell is considered to be the weakest piece in the game, with the piece value of 1, and can be captured by any other piece. There is no piece obstructing the piece's path. It can move up to 4 blocks directly, vertically, horizontally, and diagonally. The tissue is a group of cells with similar functions that work together as a unit. The tissue in cellular defense appear to be multiple small round objects, or cells, grouped together forming a larger object. The tissue piece is the second weakest in cellular defense with a piece value of 2, just a step up from the cell, which means that it can capture the cell piece and other tissue pieces, but not anything else. The tissue piece can only move 3 blocks vertically, horizontally, and diagonally from itself, but not 1 or 2 blocks. The organ, with a piece value of 4, is a collection of tissue that structurally form a functional unit specialized to perform a particular function. There are multiple different representations of the organ piece in cellular defense, including the heart, liver, intestine, pancreas, and kidneys. The movesets of the organ is as follows. An organ can move vertically, horizontally, and diagonally, but is only limited to 2 blocks per move. An organ system is a biological system that consists of various different organs working together to perform one or multiple functions. The organ system in cellular defense is represented by different icons such as the circulatory system, the digestive system, and the nervous system. The movesets of the organ system piece is as follows. The organ system piece can only move vertically, horizontally, and diagonally, but is only limited to 1 block per move. This piece has a value of 8. An organism can be single-cellular or multicellular, but in cellular defense, our organism is represented by a multicellular organism, more specifically human beings or Homo sapiens. In cellular defense, the organism piece with the piece value of a whopping 16 can only move vertically and horizontally and not diagonally. Furthermore, the organism piece is only limited to 1 block per move. Above is our introduction of cellular defense.